Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, your favourite football fan channel dedicated to Manchester United. This is your preview for the massive game against Barcelona at the Nou Camp and a partial watch along for City and Arsenal, basically, because everybody's got it on in the background. But yeah, can Eric Ten Hag grab a result away from home, or will Barcelona roll the years back? We've got a great panel on today to discuss exactly that. I'm delighted to be joined by Adam, Chivy, and Dave. How are we all doing, lads?
Well, man, you? Good, man.
Yeah, fantastic. What was I going to say? Yeah, first time actually with Dave's been on the show with Adam or Chivy. So as always, a warm welcome and thank you for coming on, Dave, again. Now before we, sorry, I've just my notes have just gone. Before we dive into the preview, do us a favour, guys. We're currently 40 subscribers off 1,200 subs. So if you haven't joined the community yet, please do. There'll be a live watch along for this game tomorrow. Me and Adam are going to be on that. Kickoff is 5:30, right? Is that correct? Yeah.
I think 5:45.
4:45. So we'll be live 4:45 roughly with team news. So make sure you come and join us for that. Let's get this preview off with some warm-up questions. Now, unfortunately, the history books haven't been kind to us when we look at the big games between both clubs in both finals. When we lost, can you name the score of both? Name the score of both games. Is that the right sentence? I'm all over the place today. What was the score of both games and the goal scorers?
It was 3-1 and 2-1, I think, was it?
No, one of them's correct, but the other one wasn't.
So 3-1 and 3-1.
No, 3-1 in 2011.
Is it a one? Is it like a 1-0 or something? There wasn't a lot in it, was there?
2009 was. Remember?
2-0.
Yeah, 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah. Remember the goal scorers?
Rooney for us. Messi had 2. This is 2010.
Yeah.
2011. So
Sorry,
Rooney
2011. Yeah, Rooney got ours.
Yeah.
Messi got 2 of theirs.
One.
Was it?
Villa.
One of theirs.
David Villa. Yeah.
Villa got 1.
So it was Messi, Villa, and Pedro who scored for Barcelona 2011, and then Wayne Rooney scored for us. 2009 when we won 2-0. Can you remember the goal scorers for Barca in that painful final?
See?
Messi with a header.
Yep. And then remember the other one?
Henry.
African baller.
Eto.
Eto.
Really?
Yep. Yeah. 2009. Eto and Messi. Obviously, bad memories. Very bad memories for us. One player you would take from Barcelona right now to improve us.
Dion.
You're allowed to have any others aside from De Jong if you want. I can't hear it.
De Jong's the obvious one. But if we're moving away from that, you could go for their other centre back, Araujo. He's been very good.
Oh, yeah. I do like
as
Araujo.
well.
Yeah. So Rojo, De Jong. Are you going De Jong as well, Chubby?
Yeah, like Dave said, it's the obvious one, but maybe would go Lewandowski just to get a goal scorer.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. How old is Lewandowski now? Is he 32, 33?
33, I think.
Yeah. I'm not saying that because I'm like, I wouldn't take him. I'd obviously take him, but I'm not sure where his age profile was at. Anyway, let's take a look at the opposition tomorrow night. Barcelona under Xavi have been brought back to life, much like United under Ten Hag. They play a beautiful brand of football, proactive, possession-based, that Cruyff style everybody knows, which Ten Hag will know all about. One key difference, though, with Barca under Xavi, they do a lot of hard work off the ball now, which was reminiscent of the golden days back in the days we was literally just talking about. And in past games, whenever they lost the ball, the counter press would be so intense, they win it straight back and they kill opposition off by recycling possession, etc., etc. You know the score with Barca. As well as the brand of football, the individual experience quality they have in their team mixed with young, bright talents like Pedri and Gavi is a perfect blend for them. They're currently top of La Liga by 11 points. They haven't lost in any competition since the Bayern Munich game at the end of October, and they haven't lost in the league since the game against Real Madrid, which was mid-October as well. So they're on quite a run at the minute, and if Xavi wins again tomorrow night, he'll beat Pep Guardiola's record of most consistent wins in a row, 11. So it's one of the toughest tests in Europe right now. And Chivy, they're in amazing form at the minute. How confident are you we can nick a result there?
I mean, we're not in bad form ourselves, considering what we've had to deal with so far this season. especially our performances against like the top teams, well, bar the first game against Man City. We've done really well against like the really tough teams. I think we can be confident of getting a result. We can look at the individual performances of like Rashford, Casemiro, Lisandro, Varane, but I think what's important for us is our belief, the belief that the players have in the manager. And I think he's restored a certain level of confidence within the team. So I mean, I'm confident. I haven't seen much of Barcelona, but I'm very confident that we can get a result. I'm confident in the ability of our manager to be able to find a result for us.
Yeah, I agree. Dave, they've got some wonderful talents, Barcelona, but one of the main topics is obviously going to be Frenkie de Jong. I mean, Ten, I got asked him about him today in the press conference, and he was talking about how much of a wonderful footballer he is and how much he's gone on to develop at Barcelona as well. Do you think de Jong's settled there now, and maybe we've missed the boat on that one?
Unfortunately, mate, it's one of those things. I'm not even necessarily sure that the boat was something we could have caught, if we're going to use that analogy.
Okay.
Just given how it seemed like Barcelona is his dream club, and it's like he's recently been married there. His wife loves it there. I think the weather's beautiful. I think it was more of a pipe dream that they were trying to stir up so they could potentially almost guilt trip him into being sold. But
Just to
he
interject
stuck his
there,
feet in.
is the weather in Manchester not nice, Dave? Is that what you're trying to say?
I mean, I'm pretty sure it rains here more than
Yeah.
anywhere else in the country.
You're probably right. Yeah.
It's painfully mild. It ain't Barcelona. But it would have been wonderful if we could find him, because he literally is the perfect midfielder for us. Like, you literally just take him in and stick us in, and like he's literally got all the good parts of Eriksen, plus press resistance, plus ball carrying. And it's just, he's such a phenomenal player. But unfortunately, I don't think he's ever going to play for us.
Yeah. I'm absolutely clinging on for life that deal will still happen. But the
Me
more,
too. But
the more time drags on, and to be, I think everyone speak for a lot of people who say that, but the more time goes on, the more I'm like, maybe it won't, and there will come that ultimate day when I decide, yeah, that's it now. I'm gonna have to stop the pursuit of Frenkie de Jong, and maybe someone else can come in and
Nick, I was going to say, he's in Manchester next week. I'll get the ski masks. You can get the van. Put a wee thing together.
Someone will grab the chloroform. Yeah, they'll never know. Give him a skinhead. We'll take all his hair off, and it'll be like a new player. Don't worry about it.
Frank Young.
Frank Young. I like it. Adam, midfield and attack of Barcelona, very impressive. But in this game, they're going to be without Sergio Busquets and without Ousmane Dembele. Is that a big advantage to us, do you think?
Well, for me, like when Busquets has been kind of that anchor, even in the days of Xavi and Iniesta, he's been there that long. A bit like Casemiro, he doesn't necessarily need pace. He has really good positional play and breaking up the play and actually just passing it. So he's going to be a big miss. Kessie isn't necessarily, straight replacement. He doesn't really. He's not really used to the whole Barca
Different
kind of
styles,
style of
aren't
play.
they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're completely different types of players. So that's possibly a player that we could target tomorrow and probably try and take advantage. Dembele, as we know, he's like Martial, quite injury prone anyway.
But both super
Um,
talented as well on equal
yeah,
measure. Yeah.
exactly. On their day, they're massive. They're a game winner, game changers, and he's a big miss for them. 2-footed player, rapid speed, and didn't they sign him for a lot of money too? I think from Dortmund
100,
at the time.
130 mil
Yeah,
we signed him for.
yeah, and you don't throw that money unless you think like there's a player in there, and
Yeah.
there is. Just injuries have kind of, slowed down his progress. But they're massive misses tomorrow. Their front line at times, like we haven't actually heard much about Lewandowski, especially this season, but
Mm-hmm.
his numbers are actually really, really good. It's like 24 goals in 26 games or something like that, with I think like 5, 6 assists, which is just mad. And there's a reason they're top of their league anyway. They're running away with it. And you said, but they're on a 10-match winning streak. It's going to be tough, but that's, I'm happy those two players are actually not there tomorrow because we have our own players that we're missing.
Yeah. And like Adam says there, Chiv, a lot of attacking talent in their team. You talk about Rafinha, who's replacing Dembele. You've got Lewandowski. You've got, great players in midfield as well. But one of the most underrated things under Xavi is he's been really solid defensively as well. Only conceded 5 goals in the league this season. What are your thoughts on the back line, whether that's individual or how they've been performing as a unit?
Like I said earlier, like I haven't really seen them that much this season, so it's hard for me to sort of to give an opinion on how on what they are. What I can talk about is how good we potentially can be, and we've seen that this season already multiple times. And I think that we have a very versatile attack in terms of Rashford is completely different to what Weghorst offers, who is completely different to what Jadon Sancho offers. Yeah. And I'm not sure that they've come against, opposition like ours so far in the,
I agree.
In Spain. So it's 90 minutes. We can it's all that form goes out the window when it comes to, there's European League form and then there's La Liga League form. I mean, we've seen that with teams here in England as well. So I'm quite confident as well. I'm not interested in how good their defense is. I think we have enough players, and I have full confidence in the tactical ability of our manager to be able to break them down. I just want I want a result. Even if we don't get away with a win, we should just try and keep a clean sheet at the very least. And it doesn't really bother me that much because teams like that keep possession kind of play into the way we play. We're more dangerous without the ball than we are with the ball. And we've seen that a lot this season. Most of our really big wins against the top sides came where we didn't have possession. The other team had the possession and we're dangerous on the counter. So I'm not sure of I think it's Araujo. Who's the other central defender?
Christensen.
I don't know if they can deal with the pace that we have. And of course, the way our manager is able to flip between that thing that he's doing between Bruno and Sancho, where Sancho comes into the middle and Bruno goes out wide. It's really, really, it could be devastating for them and advantageous to us. So, I'm fairly confident going into this one.
Yeah, that's it, mate. I love that analysis, to be fair. And you kind of give me a perfect segue into my next question. Dave, do you expect this to be a counter-attacking game for us? Kind of keep the shape, look for Marcus? Or will Ten Hag try take it from a bit, maybe 50-50 chances at both ends?
I think, tying into the other questions you've asked, given that the personnel is missing, given that Busquets is missing and he's that kind of metronome in the middle of the park, usually, with him and De Jong, they're the ones that can sort of dictate the play. And Kessie's not quite that player. And we saw that against, I don't know if either of you guys, any of you guys checked out any of the bits in the Villarreal game they've just played. They won 1-0. Yeah. But Barcelona actually had, I believe, less possession in that game, which is almost unheard of for them this season. So, given how we like to play, which is quite, we're very good at counter-pressing, but we are also able to sit off a little bit and just not completely concede possession, but just be okay without it. I think it's going to be less of a just sit back and counter, but we might be willing to have the ball a bit less. I think it may be more similar to the early Arsenal game this season, where it was kind of chaotic. We're just going to try and aim to disrupt the flow that Barcelona are going to try and put in. And we may find that easier given that they don't have Busquets in there and they've got somebody who's not as technically secure as Kessie.
Yeah. One thing I noticed about the Villarreal game was I can't remember what the Villarreal, the player or the striker, it might have been the winger or the striker, I'm not sure, kept getting in behind. So where Koundé operated and where Kessie operated, there was space in behind there. And of course, the one player we have who operates there is Marcus Rashford on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
So that is something I would definitely look at if I was Eric Ten Hag, and I believe he will, in fairness. For us, the return of Casemiro will be very, very familiar with this ground, of course, having played there numerous times. How important is it to have him back in the team, finally? Which feels like ages ago, but he's only missed a couple of games, hasn't he?
And that's the thing, you've seen the effect he's had since stepping out of the team through suspension. We've kind of fallen off. We don't look as in control the whole time. He's just, as Ten Hag, put it earlier in the season, was it the cement between the stones? We just look a lot better with him. And I don't think there's really a better player right now for us in terms of going to the Nou Camp and trying to grind out a result as well. that he's been there and he's been on the receiving end of some bad results, but also some good results.
Yeah.
And he knows what a fiery cauldron this place can become, especially when the crowd are up for it. It's going to be a sellout. I think is it 90,000 Nou Camp, around that. So it's absolutely huge. And this is the sort of game you need players with experience in. And I know we have a lot of kind of younger players around, and maybe, some players like, for example, I know I'm just hypothetical situation. Harry Maguire, he's not going to play, I hope, tomorrow.
Yeah.
But like those sort of players, like who aren't used to this big event at the time. This fella's done everything. He's won nearly everything, and he's going to be pumped up for it as well as Varane, because it's the old enemy at the end of the day, and they're going to want to get a result. And he could be a match winner. It's actually mad that your defensive midfielder can also be a match winner, because for us, he can score goals as well and make the goals too. So he's just a complete player, and we're running out of kind of, I suppose, adjectives and compliments for the guy at this point. But you're going to have to fall back on those sort of players because they've played these games so many times and they've gotten good results in the past.
Yeah, it's insane. It's credit to him how much we miss him, and now you can see it how much in games we miss. That's how much of a big player he is, and how much of a big impact he is. Because it feels like we're a completely different team without him in there, and that's just what happened under Solskjaer for the past couple of years. Whenever McFred played, it's just I felt like in the Leeds game we went back to volleyball a little bit. It was very crab-like football, side to side, slow tempo. Whereas when you got Martinez on the pitch, when you got Casemiro on the pitch, without even thinking instinctively, it's just in their nature to boom, one touch, break the lines with a pass. And then that doesn't allow the other team then to kind of stay in shape and stay organised and compact, and you can break through it. So super. Chivy's gone. Are you back?
No.
Yeah, I lost you guys for a second there.
Yeah,
I'll double check.
No, just you. I'll double check with Sam to make sure you're still in the graphic, because you could be at the top, at the bottom, or could not be completely on it at all. So I'll just make sure you're on the graphic, and then we can carry on the show. Just 2 seconds.
We're okay. We're okay.
You all right?
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Right. Anyway, focusing on us a little bit more, because we talked a lot about Barcelona. We've only lost 1 in 10 games. Rashford scored or assisted in every game apart from the Palace game since his return from the World Cup. Our defence, when we have everyone fit, is pretty solid, but one criticism at the minute is the lack of goals across the front line. And I'll wait for Chivy to just arrive so I can ask him his question when he's deciding to. Right. I'll wait until Chivy comes back in. Dave, I'll go to you on this next one. Where would you look to hurt Barcelona, and what do you think are their weaknesses?
Well, we said it a couple of times in midfield now that Busquets is their mainstay, so I think it's going to be a little more chaotic. Look to counter press them heavily when they get in the midfield and the balls get there, because that's where we've been really good. And if we can get the ball in behind Jules Koundé, who's the guy who played at right back for them, isn't he? I believe.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we're going to get some love.
Yeah.
So, you could see a very similar goal to the one that was scored against Arsenal. When Rashford's pressing, nicks the ball off. Partey, and then scores. May not be a screamer like that. It could be because Rashford's just that good. But I reckon that's where we'll get some joy.
Yeah, and hopefully Rashford doesn't go missing in that game, just like Chivy's going missing right now. Adam, your man Ten Hag is a manager. We know he embodies a lot of Cruyff principles when it comes to this beautiful game. Likewise with Xavi, their manager. How much of a spectacle do you think it'll be for him walking out of the Nou Camp?
Well, you know what? I opened Twitter there during the stream, and the first thing I saw was Ten Hag inspecting the pitch. He does that at the away games too. And I believe we train at the home stadium anyway. We do.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I kept missing.
Adam, we were talking about grass before we had slight technical issues. Ten Hag talking about the grass. Do you want to continue your segment?
Yeah, he's done his pitch inspection, and we've seen the Nou Camp in the past. It's a very, very big pitch, and you want to kind of stretch their team as well, especially on the counter attack. Hopefully, we might see the likes of Rashford kind of getting in behind, how we mentioned. But it's a big, big game for Ten Hag, I suppose, in his managerial career. I know he's got to a Champions League semi-final, but in terms of iconic stadiums, other than the Bernabeu, has he played in much of the bigger ones? You don't know. This is one of the bigger ones, so it's a big, big night for him as well, and he can silence a lot of critics by beating a Barcelona team that are top of their domestic league and showing them how to play Cruyff football.
Yeah. Well, in a video of him when he was a kid with Cruyff, have you seen it? Where he sat like kind of, I don't know, it's like an interview panel kind of thing. So yeah, shows the history there, and of course the Dutch connection as well. Speaking of Dutch connections, Chive, I know Weghorst offers certain qualities in a game, but is this a game where you'd want a clinical striker, or do you think he can? Do you think he can do a job against Barcelona?
I think Ten Hag answered your question this week when he was talking about Weghorst and his strikers, and he says it's not just about the goals, but about if a striker can help create chances or provide assists, he's equally happy. I'm not necessarily clamoring for goals when it comes to Weghorst. I'm just relying on his movement on and off the ball. If he's able to create space for our wingers to get in behind, I love his hold up play, the way he holds up the ball, and the way he links in with the wingers and with Bruno as well. So if he can do that and create chances for people like Rashford to score, or people like Sancho to get on the ball, I'm more than happy. It's nice when strikers score goals, yes. But I don't think Ten Hag was looking at his goal record at Besiktas before he signed him. I think he was looking at how much he was going to impact the team in general, and not just come in and just score a lot of goals. I'll be happy for him to do that, yes. But if he can affect, if he can be a nuisance in the defense, if he can use his height, his physicality, if he can help press from the front, and he does that really, really well. We've seen that his numbers in pressing, the offensive pressing numbers are through the roof for a striker. I'm more than happy with that because it helps the whole team play. So he can score 1,000 goals and then we lose. It doesn't mean anything. But if he helps the rest of the team play, then I'm more than happy with that. So that's how I feel about Weghorst on tomorrow. And I don't think, I'm trying to think, I know Cavani is at Villarreal. I'm trying to think of any physical striker in La Liga that offers, that's equally as tall and as big as
Soloff for Sociedad's quite a good striker, clinical bagsman as well, target man, similar
like
kind of profile.
Yeah. But it might be one of them things where he might be just that much of a handful, or his movement might make openings for us. So yeah, in terms of goals, that's fine. If he doesn't score, I'm happy.
Well, we saw him as a 10 against Leeds as well, didn't we? When he dropped in. Yeah, operating in different positions. So God knows, Ten Hag might play him at left back this game. You never know. I'll swing that question to you guys as well, because I'm interested to get your thoughts on it with Weghorst. Dave, are you happy with the job he's doing since he's come in at the minute?
I mean, yeah, because I don't think any of us really expected him to pull up any trees, did we? We got him on loan after a guy who scored 2 goals for Burnley in an entire season. Granted, he scored 8 goals in whatever. I think he was 1 in 2 at Besiktas, which obviously is pretty good for a striker. And he was basically 1 in 2 for his entire time at Wolfsburg. But it's like Vlad was saying there. I think as long as he's doing what Ten Hag wants him to do, if he scores, great. But his primary job is to bring other people in, drop into little pockets, and let the runners get beyond him and like slip them in with balls. Maybe win the occasional header. Like it's
sorry. Slip him in with balls. Yeah. Immature mind.
We're
about that.
Real mature and real.
Yeah, it's usually real mature talk. That's what it is. Sorry, Adam. Do you want to add in on the slipping balls there or the Weghorst talk? Your choice.
Yeah, like basically it was a free hit. He was there nearly to make up a number, but he actually suits the sort of style of play that we're doing. I don't think we're actually fully taking advantage of him in terms of crossing balls into the box as well. because he's he's a menace in the air. He can be at times, and we've seen it. I think he's had 2 headers that have hit the post since he's come in. Anyway, yeah. So potentially we can actually abuse that a bit more. That's a channel that we could look at, and I don't think is it Arujo or Aruja or whatever his name is for them. Yeah, I don't think he's necessarily the tallest, and I know we're kind of getting into this. Martinez isn't the tallest as well, so that's potentially a lane that we could go down. But look, he's doing a job. It's a free hit because it's not necessarily costing us much. It's not like a permanent. He's here for like 2-3 seasons, and he seems to have come in and he actually really really likes the whole club, loves it, and he's actually respecting it too. And that's what I like as well. We want players who actually want to play for us because we've had a lot of mercenaries over the years, and it's nice to have a change like that. So, look, give the lad a chance anyway. Will he start tomorrow? We don't know. We have to wait and see. But so far, I'm happy with what he's done. He's offered something anyway.
Yeah, at least we've got availability. Look, I don't want to go into the Martial thing too much.
Yeah,
but go on.
I was just going to add the goal Marcus Rashford scored against Leeds. Weghorst was in the box as well when Luke Shaw crosses that in, and he moves the player away.
Yep.
That's why, if you notice, there were quite a few defenders in there, and it was almost like a free header for Marcus Rashford. Like, it was almost uncontested because his movement, I can't remember what defender it was, but his movement kind of drags the player away. So it's the little things like that he adds to the game that I'm really, really pleased about.
I really, really like that. I want to see a few more goals from him as well, which he has been unlucky in certain situations. So if he can get 1 in 2, 1 in 3, whatever, I'm happy with it as long as he's supplying the other strikers as well. Then he's being effective. But I think he can still notch that up a little bit. And I think even if you asked him, he'd know that himself. Like he could probably score a few more goals. I've got a couple of injury updates and the head-to-head thing that I want to dive into. So there's only been 13 games between these both teams. We have won 3, they have won 6, and we've drawn 4. So Barca have the advantage in that sense. And in our last 5 games between each other, United have only won 1, which was the semi-final, as we was talking about before, scoring 3 goals on our side and conceding 9. So Barca have had the better of us over past years. But that's not always to say that that's the way it's going to plan out in this game. That's just history books, of course. Injury updates, just a quick update. Absences, apparently McTominay and Antony are back in very peripheral training, but they're not ready for this game. I think Ten Hag said in his press conference today that they could be back for the Leicester game. We just have to wait and see. And then, of course, Martial, Donny and Eriksen are still out themselves. Lissandro is out due to suspension. So, look, this might be an obvious question, lads, but out of the players that are missing, who do you feel like we missed the most? Who would you select out the ones I spoke about there in this game? Licha. What about Martial? Obviously, if Martial's fit now, you're starting him over Weghorst.
Is he fit? He's not fit.
No, this is what I'm saying. So out of the players that are missing, Eriksen, would you start Eriksen in this game?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, a lot of those are players that would start for us. So it's kind of a testament to the kind of that we're still sort of picking up points at the minute. Because Eriksen starts for us, Antony would start for us on the right, Martial would start for us up front, Licha would start at centre back. That's like 4 of our starting players there.
In this game, though, would you start Eriksen over Fred at the Nou Camp? That's the question, isn't it?
You could. This is a game that, like, if we didn't have like Sabitzer, and Sabitzer can't play as well.
Yeah.
He's one that could start, or Fred could start as well, because we've seen Fred start in these kind of games. But at the same time, we've also seen Eriksen start in these games, and Fred comes on to shore it out. So it could go either way.
I'm going Sabitzer. Just to have the physicality there in midfield, good passer of the ball. He's a bit more physical than Fred. I know Fred's kind of an engine in a sense. He keeps running like a dog chasing a football, but you don't know what Fred you're going to get, and you don't want to go to the Nou Camp and be unsure. You're not sure what Fred you're going to get. He might be unreal in the first half and terrible in the second half. You just don't know. I prefer Fred coming off the bench personally in the last kind of like 20, 25 minutes. I think that's where we should be aiming for him in the future. So I think Sabitzer is a big hit, and I don't think many of us actually knew, including maybe management, that he actually had suspension going into this initially. But we found out, like, was it a week and a half ago around that? Yeah, so we didn't know.
What about yourself, Chiba?
Definitely start Eriksen over Fred if he was fit. I remember before we played Man City, Guardiola was talking about our game, and he kept talking about the transition, and Christian Eriksen has been key to that transition with how quickly we move the ball from the back on for the midfield onto the strikers. And I think with Christian Eriksen, it kind of with Fred, it might shorten. Christian Eriksen might shorten the pass where Fred might need to give it to Bruno and then give it to. But Eriksen is able to spot all those, the spaces, slip players in. He did it with Garnacho, did it with Rashford when we played Arsenal. I mean, it's his vision, and I think this kind of game is more calls for a technical player, not necessarily the physical sort of player. But I think we'll need that brain in the midfield alongside with Casemiro, and I'd 100% starting over Fred.
Definitely when he operates on the left-hand side as well. We've talked about Koundé and Kessie maybe being a potential weakness you could exploit. If you got Eriksen on the left side, Rashford there as well. Vision, pace, bang, we score. So I agree with you in that sense. But I think whoever it is who plays, if Casemiro's on the team, if I could be next to Casemiro tomorrow at the Camp Nou and I'd look 10 times better than the player than I actually am, like Casemiro just has that effect on players. And I think I'm more confident now he's there. I'm not as fussed as who starts next to him because I think they can do a job. Casemiro's there to be the cement between the stones, and then they can kind of add on to that. In regards to the sorry, we've already touched on that. Just I don't know why my notes are repeating there. It's all going off today. I've got some interesting stats here. So Manchester United have never beaten Barcelona at the Nou Camp. United's win percentage against Spanish opposition is lower than against any other European nation, 27%. Rashford already has 21 goals for the season. No United player has broken the 30-goal barrier in a single season since Robin van Persie. Andy Cole and Dwight York are the only players to have scored for United against Barcelona at the Nou Camp. And then the last one, which I thought I'd end up with a bit of a positive, Man United have scored in every away game since our loss to Brentford. So a little bit of a positive one to end on there. Should we pay too much attention to the stats and the history, or are we more focused on what we're doing right now? I think I know your answer there, Javier.
Well, the manager said it. Errors are meant to come to an end, and I think it's the same thing with like records and stuff. I'm not too big on stats. I'm from a different generation where it was more about the eye test, and it doesn't really bother me that much. It's 90 minutes. It's against them, and I think all that kind of stuff goes out the window. Records are there to be broken. I think we are in a really strong place, and I think we can actually do damage against them. So yeah, all those stats, yeah, they're fancy, but then if anyone is known for breaking records, then it's us.
Yeah. Are you going in with that same kind of mentality, Dave, into tomorrow? Are you confident we can go there and do the job?
I'm confident that United could go and beat anyone. Like,
Yeah.
Ten Hag's got us thinking in a certain way that like not only could we beat anyone, we could beat someone like fairly convincingly too. And that's kind of the difference. And even if we're not that great, we probably won't get slapped up.
Yeah.
Even if we're not that great, you know what I mean? It's like it's been a completely different like mentality shift. Do I think we will win? It's a tough one.
Yeah.
But you have to dream, don't you?
Yeah. I do. A man who's in the form like Marcus Rashford, anything's possible, isn't it?
Exactly. I saw a graphic of his like list of goals, and it's just like goal, assist, and it's just like the whole way down, and it's like the last 10 games or 15 games in all competitions, and I think Xavi might have even complimented him. He's like, there's like nearly nobody better in Europe right now than him. He's the most informed, probably forward in Europe, you could say, because he's scoring in every game nearly. The only one game was at Crystal Palace away that he didn't get a goal. Yeah, which is insane to think. And if you do think about it, he's the one player that we have pace, I suppose, on the counter. And that's the one area where they're probably going to be worried. That's like they mightn't be looking at, say, Jadon Sancho. But at the end of the day, it also frees up space for other players because they might double up on him. So that's potentially a place that we could expose as well. Am I confident in tomorrow? I am feeling confident, strangely. Usually going to the Nou Camp is a bit of a nerve-wracking kind of game. I wish I was there to watch it though.
Same.
In Spain, it'd be something else. I'm sure we'd
Yeah.
be having cocktails right now. We would be
Oh yeah.
night before.
Yeah.
And yeah, looking forward to it now. Big test. I suppose it's Italy's biggest test now up to date. In Europe for us, it is. So it's a kind of first test in Europe for Ten Hag. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, it's exciting. Very exciting. Can't wait. Probably the most excited I've been for a game this season, which is weird. Like, because obviously we've had big games, but Barcelona only comes round every now and then, unless you're the Super League. Anyway, let's do the combined 11 of both teams. I think this will be interesting to see who people go with. So we'll start with the goalkeeper, David De Gea or Ter Stegen. Who are you taking, lads? On current form and availability, by the way, before we get into the team and people are asking, what are we on? So,
Well, I think you're given Barcelona's defensive record and pretty much the fact that United are very much openly looking for a new keeper. I think you pretty much have to give this to Ter Stegen.
I would agree. Jimmy?
I'm going to sit this one out because I don't really know that much. I don't know that much about them this season.
No sitting on the fence on this channel, mate. We don't sit on the fence.
I haven't seen them this season, so I really can't tell. And if I make any sort of it would just be speculation or just guessing. But like what Dave said, if you're going to look at like how many goals conceded, you're probably inclined to go with Ter Stegen. So
yeah, make sure you try not to get any splinters on that fence whilst you sat on it. Adam, Ter Stegen or De Gea?
I'm going with Big Dave. We're up there with the most clean sheets in Europe as well. We have a great defensive record. We were just kind of screwed over at the start of the season. And that's why our goal difference is so bloody low, if I'm being honest. And I think parts of it is down to David De Gea. I know he has the odd, mistake in him. His distribution isn't fully there, but in terms of shot stopping, I think he's one of the best in the business around the world. And we've seen kind of in the last, I suppose, 12 months of kind of better De Gea. So I'm going to go with him, staying loyal over 400 appearances for us. I know it means nothing, but
he's pulling the heartstrings there, isn't he? To try to get a vote, pulling on the heartstrings. Typical politician. Right, so two votes for Ter Stegen, one vote for David De Gea, and then one not applicable. Diego Dalot at right back, Jules Koundé, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Who would you go with there?
Like, are we talking current form?
I don't think Koundé.
Are we talking current form or overall?
Current form.
Current form, I'm probably going with Wan-Bissaka. But like, if you look, I never thought I'd say them words, but look, overall, I'd probably go Dalot because before the kind of injury spell, I think he was up there with Player of the Year for us. So, like current form, I'm going Wan-Bissaka.
Dave?
Well, from I know Barcelona are actively looking for another right back as a United, so we're in a weird situation where I don't think any of us necessarily have the right would want. Being said, before Wan-Bissaka had his great turn of form, Dalot was like really good in the league, and even displaced Cancelo, who in the Portugal squad, and which meant and Cancelo and not even having a look in at City properly when he got back. I think Dalot is probably potentially the best footballer of them. So, and even though he's probably a little bit rusty coming back, I think I would go for him.
Okay. And Jive, you're not on the fence for this one, are you?
Because you said current form, so I'll go Wan-Bissaka. I'm not sure about Koundé. I haven't heard much about what he's doing. He's not a natural right back. He's actually a centre back playing a right back. So I would go with Wan-Bissaka.
Which leaves, I think, with a deciding vote. If I say Wan-Bissaka, let's just go Wan-Bissaka because on current form, I have actually been super impressed with him. I genuinely have. I think he's been really good. Yeah. So we'll go with Wan-Bissaka. Well done, Wan-Bissaka, for getting in that team. Fair play to you, lad.
Make sure on the graphic put current form.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Don't worry about that because you're just gonna get comments. Wan-Bissaka over Koundé. Wan-Bissaka. Yeah, you just know the comments. Centre back partnerships. Who's the 2 centre backs you want to go for? Adam, do you want to give me yours?
It's tough. Like we both have really good defensive records, I suppose, this season. If you're to ask me out of the two, who has been kind of better, like for us, between Varane and the Butcher, I'm probably going to go Martinez. I'm going to say as the left foot for them. I don't know if he's left-footed, is he, that Araujo guy? Because I know there has been a lot of shouts.
He plays on the right.
Yeah, he plays,
He plays on the right, does he? Okay.
Yeah.
So that fits. That'd be my centre back pairing, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you could have both United ones in there, given that Barcelona have only conceded 7 goals.
Yeah.
But I think you have to put Martinez in there just because he's so good. Not only is he great at defending, it's like having someone with a passing range and technical security of Liverpool's Thiago at centre back, and that's just ridiculous.
Yeah. He's one of the most press-resistant defenders I've ever seen in my life. Like, someone just rush it. He can get rushed by about 6 players, and he'll just, no worries, mate. Just a little turn straight through him, cut through him like finger, and then, madness. So, Lisandro Araujo, would you agree with that assessment, Chiva?
Absolutely.
Yeah, perfect. Moving on to left back, Luke Shaw, Balde, Jordi Alba. Luke Shaw?
Have to go with my man, don't they?
I mean, he's been fantastic this season, and considering he's probably going to be playing at centre back.
Unreal.
Yeah, he has. He's been, considering Jose Mourinho famously said he hasn't got a brain. I had to be his brain basically at him in the game. For him to be playing at centre back in big games and do well, like against Erling Haaland in the Manchester derby, shows how much he's rose his game. So yeah, I'd go with Luke Shaw. Are we all happy with Luke Shaw at left back? Yeah, cool. Midfield. This is where it gets slightly interesting. Casemiro's in there for me, for sure, 100%. I think that's agreed. Over Busquets, yeah? Yeah? Sweet. I appreciate Busquets, though. Don't get it twisted.
How many are we going for midfield? Is it 4-3-3?
Yeah, yeah. And then De Jong alongside him, do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Bruno. So basically the midfield that's going to be in the summer.
Yeah, then you're either looking at Bruno or Pedri.
Pedri's fucking class, you know. He really is. He's such a good player. But yeah,
you're potentially splitting hairs. Honestly, I think every Barca fan's probably going to pick their 3 midfielders if you ask them.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to get a nice blend. Oh, I'll go Bruno. I'll go Casemiro, De Jong, Bruno. That's what I'll go for.
I would too.
Dave,
I'd say Pedri, just because I think I'll concede that Barca have been ridiculous this season, and I think he's a wonderful player.
I agree. Chive, you got the decider.
I'll go with Pedri.
And it's split. Right, we'll leave that to the viewers, and we'll put an Instagram poll out for it. So Bruno or Pedri in the combined 11 between Barcelona and Manchester United. Front 3, I think on current form, I would personally go Rafinha, Lewandowski, Rashford. That's what I'd go for.
Fair assessment.
You're splitting hairs potentially between Rafinha and Dembele, because I think Dembele is their second most productive player behind what's it called, Lewandowski. But because he's out, I think Rafinha is the obvious choice.
Yeah.
Or Gavi.
Over Rashford?
No, like at least in contention.
He plays on the left though, doesn't he? That's what I'm thinking, because he played Gavi on the left hand side and Dembele on the right.
Yeah, that's where he played for Villarreal. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd go with Rafinha, Lewandowski, Rashford. He's more than welcome to throw anyone else in there, but I think on form right now. So if everyone's in agreement with that, the full team is ter Stegen in net. Sorry, was you going to say something then, Chive? Oh, was you just saying right? Yeah. Never mind. Full team: ter Stegen, Wan-Bissaka, Lisandro Martinez, Araujo, Luke Shaw. Midfielder: Casemiro, Frenkie de Jong, Bruno, or Pedri. And let us know in the comment section what you think about that. Rafinha, Lewandowski, and Rashford up top, which is what a fucking team that is, by the way. Unbelievable. Let's do some quick fire questions for tomorrow night. So just simple yes or no answer. Will we score?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for that. Very delayed answer. Will Sancho start?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, Adam's slightly reluctant there. Will we concede?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Who worries you the most on Barcelona's team tomorrow?
Lewandowski.
Say again.
Who worries you the most on Barcelona's team tomorrow?
Frankie de Jong.
Dave,
Yeah,
you say?
imagine he just plays an absolute blinder. Like,
no.
United fans whistling him every time he gets the ball, and he's just playing for us constantly.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to
It's
see what
probably
reception.
Lewandowski because I just think he's wonderful.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what reception he gets at Old Trafford as well, De Jong, to see how they kind of react to it.
He hasn't done anything wrong, has he, last we'll probably
No.
get booed, but he's not done
probably.
anything wrong.
He just get dogs abuse, won't he, when he's there? Like, it wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me in the slightest.
He
Will
didn't want to
Marcus
come to
Rashford...
Manchester, he misses. Boo.
Yeah. Will Marcus Rashford score?
I think so.
You can see it, can't you? Because that's what, like I said, that's why we discussed that one of their weaknesses is you can just see someone pressing up, Casemiro, or someone slipping in the ball behind, and it's a goal.
Yeah.
So yeah, why not?
Yeah, Rashford is a big game player. It's one of them ones where I think he'll score. He scored at the Parc des Princes.
Mhm.
I think he scored at all like the big stadiums. I don't remember if he scored at Turin against Juventus when we beat.
I think it
them.
was Juan Mata who scored, wasn't it?
Juan
I
Mata.
think we won that game 2-1, did we?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
we're
one was a free kick.
Matt scored that free kick from the edge of the box.
Yeah. I think maybe Ashley Young scored as well in that game.
Oh God.
Yeah. Ashley old now.
Fellaini.
So is what?
It was a Fellaini that scored that second goal. It was like an own goal, kind of bounced back.
Oh, you might be right. I'm not sure. Last
Good times.
yeah, the good times.
I want to see Ten Hag do that.
Yeah. Last one. Give me a percentage on how much United could win this game tomorrow. So what's in our favour? What's in Barcelona's favour?
I'll go 50-50.
50-50. Nice.
I'll be a bit more pessimistic because I think draws could be like a decent result here. I'll go say 30% United win, 20% draw, and 50% Barca win. That's my guess.
I do.
Yeah, I think I'm sitting on the fence with this one. 50. I will probably get into score predictions. I have two on my head, but I'll sit on the fence. 50.
50-50. I'm going to go 60-40 in favour of Barca, I think. So I think it's going to go. But I'll take a draw. Listen, if it's 1-1, 0-0, whatever, I will take that back to Old Trafford because I think the atmosphere when Barcelona come to us is going to be fucking...
Yeah, that'll be meant.
Yeah, Old Trafford will be bouncing. Awesome. Let's do predicted 11s. Adam, do you want to go through yours first?
Yeah, I think David De Gea and Wan-Bissaka starts. I think just for that defensive cover because we're going to be defending a lot of the night and he offers a lot more in that sense than Dalot. I think Varane and Luke Shaw at centre back, and then Malacia at left back. Then a midfield of Fred, Casemiro, Bruno. Up front, I think you're looking at Rashford, Weghorst, and Sancho. Now, if Eriksen or someone else was available, I think Bruno would have started on the right. But because of the options that we have right now, I think that would be the front line.
Okay, I think quite a lot of people's teams might be similar to that, I'm guessing. Dave, do you want to give us yours?
Yeah, I think mine's basically identical, but the only thing I'm iffy with is whether Dalot plays because he's played the last two.
I think
Wan-Bissaka had an illness and he come on for 20 minutes against Leeds to finish off the game, and we did score two goals in that time, I think. So maybe he goes with him. It's hard to say, but I'll predict Dalot, and it's I reckon that front four will probably be the same. I don't think he goes with Garnacho in this game. He'll bring him on, but you may see Sancho, Bruno, and Rashford just all rotating in between them, and Weghorst dropping into 10s at different positions because they're quite good with that.
Yeah, hopefully. I think I'd agree with that assessment, and I think Dalot will start, in fairness. Ten Hag seems to be a massive fan of him. What any tweaks you change to that team yourself, Chivy, or are you in agreement?
What's the same? What was the Adam? What was your back four? Was it
It
Sorry,
was,
sir.
uh,
Hello, Varane, Shaw, Malacia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Wan-Bissaka, you said, didn't you, Adam?
Wan-Bissaka, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So it's the same with you guys. I'll go with. I think he'll go with the low.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Um,
I think we'll need as many ball players as possible in terms of trying to create chances, and I think that's what Dalot has over Wan-Bissaka. So I think he might go with that.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
think Wan-Bissaka suits more of a player who's going to run at him and try and dribble at him, and Gavi doesn't strike me as that player. I think this is more of a game for Dalot.
Yeah. Agreement. All agreed. Score predictions. Adam, again. Start us off, please. Juicy bit.
I have it in my head 1-1 or 1-0 Barcelona. And they're the two results I have in my head. But I'm going to be optimistic. 1-1, bring it back to Old Trafford. Away goals are scrapped now, aren't they?
I believe so.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's anyone's to grabs. And I think if you bring a draw back to Old Trafford, I think it's ours.
Goal scorers, Adam?
Rashford, Lewandowski.
Dave? Score prediction and goal scorers?
My first thought was 2-2, which would be a spicy game. I'd be up for that. And do I think it's going to score? Rashford gets 2, Lewandowski gets 1, and Frankie de Jong gets 1.
Oh, the headlines. You can see them already. Jibby?
I'm going to go 2-1 to Man United. I think Rashford gets 1, and I think an unsung hero is going to get the second one. I don't know who. It will be some random.
Malacia or something.
One of them types. One of them Malacia.
He's not a scored yet, has he?
Yeah, Virgos might get a goal. One of them types. Fred. And yeah, exactly.
You could see it, couldn't you? You could see Fred getting a goal. It's just
Right,
he pops up with the most random ones.
And for them, I don't know who'll score for them. It'll probably be one of the main ones, probably Lewandowski or something.
Cool. I think it's going to be really tough as well. I'll go 1-1 Rashford and Pedro to score. But either way, it's going to be a fucking really interesting game. Can't wait to do the watch along with Adam tomorrow night. Make sure you come and join us. 4:45, I think the team news will be out. So come and join us on that live on YouTube. And that concludes the preview for today, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Please click that subscribe button and smash a like on the video. Make sure you follow us on all socials as well, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And like I said, come and join me and Adam for the watch along. Thank you for coming on, lads. Really appreciate your assistance and insight.
No worries, man.
Always good to be on. And we're almost all in black. We're here for Xavi's funeral, so
yeah. I had to get that
tomorrow.
in there, didn't you? I had to get that in there.
Yeah, I did.
There's my Spanish connection anyway. Thank you for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Peace.
Peace.